wanted to share my reasonings for why I decided to go vegan, because none of my friends really believed me when I said I went vegan. It was a big surprise to them because I used to eat a lot of meat, and I was very passionate about eating meat. And I was also very passionate about how much I disliked vegans and veganism in general. How I thought, well, pretty much every excuse that you could think of against veganism, I supported that excuse. That was my reasoning. So it was a huge 180, if you will, for me to go and decide to commit to veganism. And so to really understand why I went, you'll have to kind of know a little bit of background information. I started working out pretty regularly when I was 21, about 30 years old now, or I am 30 years old now, but I started working out pretty regularly starting at the age of 21, and off and on I've been really into bodybuilding, and it was just very interesting to me, and I became really addicted to fitness and bodybuilding. I kind of believed whatever I read in the bodybuilding magazines. As time progressed and YouTube became a little more out there, I started following these bodybuilders on YouTube and listening to what they have to say. And it was just very interesting to me to see the inner workings of these, people, these bodybuilders. And YouTube tends to recommend videos. And once I stumbled onto Vegan Gains, Worst of the Fitness Industry, I started watching a few of his videos. And at first I really didn't like him. I didn't agree with him, whatever. But like a train wreck, you can't look away. So I continued to watch him, and it kind of started to open my mind. I've been wrong about a lot of things in my life, and maybe I should really look at this objectively. And so after, trying the keto diet, which was absolutely horrible for me. I mean, I lost a lot of fat, and I didn't lose a lot of weight, but I felt, for lack of a better word, malnourished. Even though I was eating 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day, I felt like lethargic and I didn't feel good. And so I quit doing that and went back to eating carbs again, and I felt better. And I really kind of made the decision that I was never going to quit eating carbs, because regardless of how fat I was, I'll just do more cardio. I'll just be in a calorie deficit, whatever it is. After, exposing myself to Vegan Gains and his channel and his ideas, I decided to try it. Why not? I've tried everything else. And within about 3 days, my energy levels were like through the roof. I've never experienced. I felt like I had just drank like 10 Red Bulls. I felt focused. I felt happy. I felt just good and healthy. It was a lot harder because I didn't really know what to eat, so I was kind of just Googling what do vegans eat. And after about a week, I decided that this is something I should really look into. So I decided to watch some documentaries on Netflix. And I watched Cowspiracy first. I don't know why, but that was the first one I watched, and it really exposed me to all the environmental issues surrounding animal consumption. And I felt like, what the hell? Why didn't anybody tell me about this? Like, why is this not news? Like, this is opening my eyes to something I never realized, and I just couldn't believe it. So I decided that I was going to continue, and I watched the documentary on YouTube called Earthlings, and I didn't finish it. It changed me. It kind of awoke this empathy inside of me that I never knew I had. When I was watching it, it felt like I was there. It felt like I was the same place this animal was, and I was just screaming in my head, please, 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 please stop. I don't want to die. I felt I could put myself into that animal and just feel what that animal was feeling. And it was overwhelming to me. I don't want to die. I'm not ready. I want to live. Human beings have that same desire. Animals have that same desire. We all have the desire to live. And I could just see that, and I decided right then and there that it was just wrong. And I couldn't do it anymore. And I just didn't want to feed that evil. I felt like this system of eating meat was it was evil, and we've been brainwashed to think there's nothing wrong with it. And I just felt like it changed me. It changed who I was. I started to realize that, I am a very empathetic person. And my experience since has been, pretty enlightening. I feel like I've discovered a piece of me that has always been there, but I've never really tapped into it. It's kind of hard to explain. I guess what I'm really trying to say is that you have to be open-minded. You can't shut things off because they seem wrong, or they don't seem popular, or everybody says it's okay, or everybody's doing it. That's the worst excuse. Yeah, everybody's doing it, or it's not that bad, or whatever justifications you tell yourself. Just be like, well, if this was my first day on Earth, how would I feel? If I was an alien and I came to this planet and I looked at different species on this planet, different walks of life, and I noticed that there was one species that systematically slaughtered, a just unfathomable an unfathomable amount of animals or other species, and ate them when they didn't need to, when in fact it was unhealthy to, especially the way they did it. And they started tapping into the planet's natural resources and really taxing the planet for something that they didn't need. If this was your first day on Earth, you would come to the same conclusion that I did, that I really don't want to do that. It doesn't seem right. It seems unlogical. It just seems contrary to everything else that I believe in. So I've completely made the commitment. I don't really imagine a scenario where I will ever be okay eating meat again. I don't really imagine a scenario where that is not going to bother me. Like, I can imagine maybe I get really sick and they tell me I should start eating animals again, I don't know what I would do. Would I eat animals and just hate myself? Feel horrible about it? Or would I allow myself to die? Would my convictions be so strong that I would choose to wither away and die than change my mind? Well, I guess that's something else I'll need to think about.